let's not waste any time here. Get the stuff out. Can be a little tacky at points. So first what you want to do is you want a nice clean surface. Take some flour and then you just basically douse the surface with flour. I prefer use a good amount of flour. I prefer a movable board. That way you can get the pizza dough out of the way while you're working on other stuff. Basically, I just try to clear out the area. You know, lightly dusted. This actually comes in use later on. You'll see that in a little bit. Basically, I create this ring around a lightly floured surface, and then just quick brushing off of the flour. Okay, so coming out of the bag, this is a little tricky. Essentially what I do is I try to turn this thing a little bit of inside out. Try to find a corner that's going to work. I think this one's going to work a little bit better. And then I essentially pull this out. Okay. So I try to get one corner completely out. And then I use my fingers to kind of work it away from the bag. And then you just kind of let it fall. And then you want it to fall right in the middle of the... And then we just let it sit there for... Essentially we're going to let it sit for about 15 minutes. And that's about it. Okay. So, this is a complicated part. Not really complicated, it's just harder than the other parts. We've let the dough rest for about 15 minutes. Basically lets the dough get warmer, makes it a little bit more elastic, a little easier to stretch. First, before we do that, we're going to put this, take a little olive oil, throw it onto the pan that you're going to bake it on, and then you just basically use a paper towel to spread that around. Just get it completely greased, and that's going to allow the pizza to not stick. Okay, so we have our dough, and what we're going to do is we're going to take that flour that was on the edge, and we're just going to sprinkle it on, lightly dust, and that's going to keep it from sticking. And then I always like to just kind of give it a couple pats just to knock off that residual dough, and it also helps kind of start to flatten the process. Now this is really the part that you just press down, part that's really important in terms of kind of shaping that initial shape. You just press down with your fingertips, try to make it even all the way around, and the whole purpose of this is obviously to just get into a nice shape. Sometimes you'll get it in the middle. Just try to press that out. You're just trying to press all that dough out to the edges. You can already see it's already taken a nice shape. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to get my fingers, cut a little over here, flatten it out. I don't know, maybe like a ½ an inch. So once you get that shape, I'm going to take my fingers and I'm just going to grab from underneath. Sometimes it gets stuck a little bit, but it looks like I did a nice job of getting some good flour coverage down there. Now I'm just going to take my hands, knuckle them up, and then you just press around the outside, and every now and then just stretch with the thumb. Press. See my thumb's pressing out, and you're just trying to get it nice and even and stretched out. And once it's pretty stretched out, you'll start to see your hands. You're just going to lay it in, and you can't see this part yet, but it should just go nicely. And then you can, I'll move this. That's out of the way. But we'll use that later. And then you can see now, I'm just going to take the edges, just pull them a little bit, pull them a little bit, pull them. Just pull on the edges a little bit. You may see a little, I got some thinness here, you can see through a little bit. That's okay. It's just going to result in a little bit thinner of a pizza on that section. But the idea is just kind of stretch the dough apart so that it fits. And I always like to leave just a little bit, maybe like, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes I can go right up to the edge. And there you go. I mean, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. With these pans, it obviously doesn't need to be. But there you have it. So, once we have that, we can get to the fun part, which is dressing it. And I'm going to come a little closer. I'm going to come a little closer with this because now my... Okay. So, perfect. Here is my dough. And we're going to start with pulling out of the fridge. Sauce. Cut the top off, careful on this part. But I am going to use this entire thing of sauce. It is a Skinner Girl trait, I think, to like a saucy pizza. So, my wife, Catherine Skinner, therefore demands, Catherine Skinner Lucchese now, demands lots of sauce. So I just use the whole thing, and I use this little tiny spatula that I got as an extra on a Williams-Sonoma gift. It's a little tiny spatula to basically get it all out as much as possible. And there you have it. And then I just put cheese on that. No, not really. From here, what we do, take a soup ladle, and you just use the bottom of the soup ladle to spread out that sauce. And you want to make sure there's just coverage. Leave about a 1/4 of an inch space between the edge of the dough and the sauce. But you're just working on covering the entire pizza. Now, what I haven't mentioned is that we are preheating the oven to 450. And the whole purpose of, the one thing that I will say has really kind of made the difference with our oven is that it runs pretty hot. I'm pretty sure it cooks at about 475. The dough itself, the bag says 450. We started doing that, but then what I realized that our oven is really, really hot. And so when I put a thermometer in there, it registered right around 25 degrees above what we're seeing. So I think with this pizza, it probably wouldn't hurt to put it about 460, 475. Okay. I'm being really, really anal about gaps, but for the most part, I've got good coverage all the way through. I'm just going to let that be. That looks pretty good. I'm sorry. Okay. So, cheese. I literally use a whole thing of cheese. So you get the, this is the whole milk mozzarella from Trader Joe's. It's actually really good cheese. We've been pretty pleased with the quality of it. It's got a good taste to it, creamy. But yeah, make sure it's the whole milk. I don't really believe in using partial fat dairy. I drink whole milk, and I eat whole milk yogurt, mainly because, I don't know, there's a lot of other things that are going to make our lives really difficult to live. I figure if you're going to eat yogurt or milk or cheese, just go with the real thing. So in terms of the coverage on this, on the cheese, you know, I don't know. We have a lot of cheese and we use a lot, and it's really unhealthy. But I mean, I'm not going to pretend like my pizza's healthy by using less cheese. So I figure use as much cheese as you want. We like to use a lot, basically overdo it. But what I do like to do is to leave just a little extra, although this is a lot extra. Looks like I got a good shred on this. Just a little extra, and that's going to come in later. Now we'll grab our toppings. So tonight we're doing something a little bit different. Let me check where it's at still. Okay. So tonight we're doing something different. Our daughter Anna's gonna be eating this. Most of you know her, I'm pretty sure. This won't be watched by anybody else if I put it on YouTube, but whatever. So I'm gonna leave a little V of cheese right here. Just cheese. Because Lord knows kids just can't eat vegetables on their pizza. They gotta have just plain cheese. So, yep. So this is my side. I'm doing pepperoni, mushroom, and peppers. And then the other side, which is my wife's, will be pepperoni, mushrooms, and jalapenos. So, I mean, I could do a lot of these. I don't really need to, but okay. So that's enough. And I hate to do this, but I generally just, I mean, I could use them on an omelet for sure, but I'm not going to cook anything in the next day or two. So I'm absolutely wasting food, and I hate doing this in front of people. Now that I'm doing it, I feel very self-conscious about it. Starving people everywhere in the world, and I'm throwing peppers out. That's okay. Restaurants throw food out all the time. So, back to pizza at hand. Just loading it up with mushrooms. I cut 7 mushrooms here. These are cremini mushrooms, the organic variety from Trader Joe's. They're good mushrooms. The one thing I've always noticed, though, that is after a few days they start to get a little nasty. So I always like to eat them fresh. And I've heard that about mushrooms, that they're one of those vegetables that you really want to try to get. I guess they're not a vegetable; they're a fungi. Like me. Apologies. But no, we just want to make sure to eat these as fresh as possible because they start to turn pretty quickly. And it's not like they're inedible, but they take on a certain color. And right now they're nice and white and they look really good. And then as they get older, after a few days, they start taking on a grayish color that's kind of unappealing. Okay, next we're going to throw the pepperoni on. Pepperoni is the Volpe Prep Gourmet pepperoni. It's really good. I really enjoy it. And just cut it up. Probably going to get knocked from my knife skills. Wielding it unsafely. I don't normally cut it like that. I just wanted to hold the label up. And so with pepperoni, we just basically try to get as much coverage as possible. I just cover it everywhere, except my daughter's, because she hates pepperoni. You can hear her screaming. That is totally her. She's getting a bath right now. So, we're just going all the way around. All the way around. Bath time. And then, yeah, and then you just fill the gaps. You'll notice that we have a lot of pepperoni. Like, it's a lot. And then the fun part is you always take a little cheese, a little thing of pepperoni, nice and healthy. Very tasty. Okay. Good, right? Well, here's the thing. keep things a little together. I looked at what I call my cement, or plaster, if you will. This is just a light dusting of cheese up on top. And what that does, kind of holds everything together. If you take a bite of pepperoni, it doesn't pull, but it just kind of holds everything together. So that's going to melt. Now, what I haven't done is cut my wife's jalapeno. She likes jalapenos on her. I suppose I can just cut that real quickly over here. Sounds like a mess up there. My youngest is crying pretty bad, and I'm here making a YouTube video. So, let's just quickly cut up this jalapeno. I don't know. You want to do about slices that are about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to put those on top. We're just going to put those on top of my wife's side. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. I know, so I don't think I can post this on YouTube. Turn the light on.
What are you making?
I'm making our pizza dinner. And that's that. I'm going to put that in a 450 oven and put it in for about 15 minutes. At 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes, I'm going to actually turn it. So I put it in one way, then I turn it mainly to get an equal cook across the entire pizza. And then after 15 minutes, I pull it out and we enjoy, and I'll show that in a little bit. Okay, so we're back. We're going to pull the pizza out of the oven. And we're using these oven mitts. Now, I'll put this on here. I'm probably not supposed to, but whatever. I want to show you how I do this. So I use an Epicurean pizza slicer. And what I do to get this off is I just slide that under. It's pretty heat resistant. And we take the pan, lift it up, and then just slide the pizza off. And it's definitely pretty hot. Just get the pizza cutter out.
Be careful, Daddy.
I will be careful. Thank you, Anna. So you notice a couple things: crispness on the pepperoni. That's always nice. It's one of the big favorites of my wife. And then we'll just cut. And these cutters are phenomenal. I am a big fan. Can't remember when we got it. I think we got it. I think this is a wedding present, or either that or we bought it after our wedding. But I'm just cutting right down the line with these slices. You just rock this thing back and forth. You always want to make sure you hear that crack of the edge. You want to get the edges pretty well, because it may seem like you get them, and then when you don't. So I got to cut a nice piece here. You're using the oven mitts. And that's it. There's the pizza. So yeah, simple process. There's a couple spots that get a little tricky, but otherwise, bon appetit. Nice beer. Tonight's beer is bon appetit means good eating, I suppose, in French. Tonight's beer is the Deschutes, one of them. They're all the same, I guess. That's about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments. And if you want to complain about what I did, which YouTube is really good for, feel free to complain. That's about it. If you want to subscribe to my channel, fine, but I only have like 3 videos, and one of them is my brother dancing in the car in the Central Valley. So thank you, and that's about it.